So I fell into this great sin, and I was down for days thinking about it. While I was thinking about it, how it happened, why it happened, what happened. These were the three questions in my mind. These are questions that are not going to help me, but I was down, crying, worried, thinking about these things. While I was thinking about them, a voice spoke to me. A voice spoke to me and said, if you would remain down, worried, and thinking about these three things you were thinking about, you are never going to rise up, because you are right at the spot where the enemy wants you to be. The enemy wants you to be at a spot of regrets, at the spot of inactivity, at the spot of unfruitfulness. That's the exact spot the enemy wants you to stay. So the enemy wants you to be at that spot of unfruitfulness, inactivity, worries, a spot of shame, a spot of guilt. That's the spot the enemy wants you to be. So the voice said to me, if you would stop thinking about how, because you have no power on how. It's in the past. You have no power on how it happened. You have nothing to do about what happened. You have nothing to do about how it happened. You have nothing to do about why it happened. Even if the question is answered, it will still keep you down. So he said, instead, think of how to get out of this place. Think of how to get up and get going. Because at the spot you are right now is the exact spot the enemy wants you to be. And it's going to keep you down with those thoughts of how it happened, what happened, and why it happened. These questions, when they are answered, when you get answers to them, is not still going to help you. So the enemy wants you to stay there in that mode, in that spot of inactivity, in that spot of unfruitfulness, in that spot of intimidation. That's where he wants you to be. But the Lord said, you are supposed to be fruitful. You see, the Lord wants you to be fruitful. The Lord said in the book of John 15 and verse 8, he said, herein is the Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. So shall ye be my disciples. So for you to be a true disciple of Christ, you need to be active, bearing fruit. You need to be active. So the spot of inactivity, the spot of guilt, is not where the Lord wants you to be. That's where the enemy wants you to be. So the voice spoke to me and said, get up from that spot and get going. Get up from that spot and get going. What the questions you were asking does not affect anything. So herein is our Father glorified. This is what makes God happy. Herein is my Father glorified, that I do what? That I bear much fruit. So the job of Christians is to bear fruit, irrespective. So whatever you fell into had been taken care of by the cross. So your duty is to move on. Get up from that spot. Tell yourself, I am not going to stay here and let the enemy deal with me. So you get up from that spot and keep going, keep moving. That's what God wants you to do. God bless you.